Another 5-minute mystery.
Attention, Motorcycle Patrol 14. Attention, Motorcycle Patrol 14. Go immediately to Whaleback Beach. Body has been reported found on shore. Attention, Motorcycle Patrol 14.
Hey, you! What are you doing down there?
I'm the one who called the police. The body's down here.
I'll be right down. Now, wait there.
Take your time. That hill's pretty steep.
Is he dead?
I'm afraid so. I've been trying to bring him around.
Who is he?
A neighbor of mine, John Rawlings.
What's your name?
William Sanders. I live up the beach about a mile. Rawlings has the cottage next to mine.
What's happened here?
Well, I just come in with my boat when I saw Rawlings sprawled on the sand. From the looks of him, he must have been in the water for several hours, as he had several strings of weed clinging to his wet clothes. I've been working on him while waiting for you.
Well, he's gone, all right.
Poor Rawlings. I don't quite know how to break it to his wife.
Mr. Sanders, where did you say you had been this afternoon?
You mean when I discovered the body?
Well, before that.
Well, I was out sailing all afternoon. I usually come in about 5 o'clock each afternoon, but since it was such a warm day, I made it an hour later.
You were out all afternoon, then?
Yes, that's right. This evening, when I was sailing in, making for my anchor buoy, I noticed what seemed to be a body lying on the beach. I anchored the ship and rowed in with my little boat that I keep tied up to the buoy.
Where do you keep the rowboat when you're on shore?
Oh, I also keep it out there. This line here, attached to the cliff, goes out to the buoy, and after I row in, I use the line to pull the rowboat back out to the water. That's to keep the tides from smashing it on the rocks.
You say you rowed right into the beach?
Yes. Rawlings was lying high up on the sand. He must have been washed in by the high tide and left there when it ran out.
How far out do you keep your sailboat?
Well, when it's high tide, it's about 100 yards offshore.
And at low tide?
I should say about 50. When I came in to shorten night, it was only necessary for me to row in that distance, as it had been low tide for about 4 hours.
Well, that'll be sufficient, Mr. Sanders. I've enough for my report.
It's been a horrible accident.
No, Mr. Sanders, you mean murder.
What?
I repeat, murder. And I'm holding you as the killer.
What flaw did the policeman discover in William Sanders' story that brands him as the murderer? In just a moment, we'll know. And now, back to our story.
Mr. Sanders, your story contained one glaring contradiction that turned it into a confession of guilt. You told me that the body was wet when you found it. Yet just a moment ago, you admitted that the tide had been out for about 4 hours, thus leaving the body lying on the beach for that length of time in the summer sun. If Rawlings' body were wet, as you claimed you found it, it's because you just put it there after first drowning your victim. Sorry, Mr. Sanders, but your story sailed off course that time. Your alibi is on the rocks.